All right, everybody. I know that I said that I would get back on and talk more about domination. So today I'm just going to be going into a little bit more detail about what you want to use when you're doing a domination work as far as live things from nature. Okay, this is no longer herbs. This is now things that are alive. They are walking around and they are visible. Let's see. I think he's up at the top here getting that air because I always poke holes. But for all of you who don't know, my name is Dr. D Oracle. Welcome to my channel. This is about everything magic, metaphysical, and I try to touch on different things that have an interest to us, but I come at it from a spiritual angle or aspect. For me, I find like it's more genuine or more real when you have, spirit, because you tend to get into the essence of things more rather than just the material aspect or a kind of an attitude, kind of approach. So for domination, last time we talked about the candle, we talked about specific herbs, we went over using licorice root and calamus and camphor. Those are our controlling herbs. Also, master of the woods, which I'm pissed, right? Because I've been unable to locate where I can purchase master of the woods. But that is one of the strongest and most useful herbs when you're going to do some type of domination work. Your oils, of course, are command and compel, follow me, girl, boy, essence of bend over. You want to stick with those things. I think come to me oil. That's versatile because you can use it, but you gotta use it, the intention of it basically changes. Instead of I want to attract someone to me, instead of I already know the one I want, bring your ass here. So last time we talked about I think we talked about petitioning Saint Martha the Dominator. If I didn't mention it, you know that is a 9-day process. And I don't mean 9 days successively in a row, but 9 Tuesdays. So 9 Tuesdays for 9 weeks. On every Tuesday, you've got to be adamant about petitioning her, putting out her offerings, fresh water, sweet bread, wine. And me, of course, I always, surround the area with those herbs which coincide. For me, I feel like if it's not as helpful, it's even more like providing clarity for your intention in your work, because that the herbs are still putting a petition to the universe. So that's what happens when we're talking about live things or natural things. So when you catch a spider or you catch a bug or you've got some dead flies, well, I like more live things because I can actually connect with that spirit. And you can connect with spirits on the other side when they are no longer having their life force in them. But you have to focus and concentrate a little more versus if I, kind of feed this guy and talk to him every day. I kind of have some type of leverage. I built some type of leverage with this spirit because I'm exchanging energy. So in a domination work, spiders are going to be a very good addition to that. And I don't know if you've ever saw these candles, which is the Spider Queen candles. These can be used for good luck or domination. So when you have one of these, it's good to find a real live spider in your place somewhere, kind of capture them, so you can exchange energy with that spider during the work, and you can use that spider in your work to help you achieve domination. Now, what does a spider have to do with domination? Well, a spider can spin a web, and if you get caught in that spider's web, well, I mean, you pretty much are at the mercy of that spider. So that's what the spiders are about when you're using domination work. And one thing I tell people, if you want to do spells and you want to really get into your craft, it's really good to connect with nature, because nature helps you understand how the universe reflects that energy back to you in a magic spell. So, along with doing maybe a love jar or something, you might want to do domination work. And aside from calling in um, spirits like Martha the Dominator, you can work with a spider spirit. Um, in my mind, if I have a spider spirit, I also want to have a web, okay? Because those are the two forces that I want to work with to achieve the outcome of domination. I want to have the spirit of a spider, and I want someone to get caught in the web of my spider spirit. And so, of course, when you fix this candle, you would want to write or etch the individual's name inside this candle. It also has a small line here you can write it in, but I never do that. Anyhow, because I want to pour oil and put herbs up over the name to even give it more of a commanding presence, you know. And then aside from that, you want to conjure. So I really didn't have a lot of food to feed a spider, so I just throw some like dead flies or something in there. And then here we have the second part, which is to conjure. Okay, so we're going to use water, we're going to use candlelight, and we're going to actually pray over this specific insect or spider spirit to call forth that application that we need in our magic, that force to achieve domination. So make sure you always take it to the four corners, because now we're not just looking at it, we're not just feeding it, but we're actually wanting to connect with the spiritual consciousness, the energy, the essence behind what we see as far as the spider is concerned. So you're taking it to the four corners. You've got your water, you've got your candles. Maybe you can offer it as well. Something that is going to be a little bit more, I don't know, because I always give all the spirits offerings. So I suppose if we're doing it before we call up the spirit, we shouldn't have to do it after, okay? Because it's going to remember you. But you can put that spirit inside of a doll. I am personally going to put my offerings here, as far as whiskey and also tobacco smoke. Unfortunately, there's another spider over there. I've had it for about, 3 months. I was hoping that it was going to be dead by now, but it's still not dead. So if you do capture a spider, they can last for months without eating or anything. Okay. Um, so just beware if you're working with live things, you need to be careful. Some spiders are poisonous. They could possibly, you know, bite you. And so, just practice regular precaution. When you're catching them, always just get a jar and I place the jar over the spider and then I get something flat, go up under there, lift it, place it in the jar. I can do ants like that. I usually put real red ants into my hot foot powder. Gopher dust, of course. I wouldn't technically speak that recipe here, but you would collect an array of dead insects such as maggots, flies, scorpions, red ants, whatever the case may be. How the spirit that you connect with. What is that spirit? Is it a hot spirit? Is it a cool spirit? But what is behind the correlation? Because that's how you're talking to the universe. That's how you're calling specific spirits that are in the different realms for their help. That essence, that same essence that you're going to with the nature, there's a spirit behind that, like a creation spirit. And when you call that spirit to you or you conjure that spirit, you're asking for that spirit to become part of your work and, help you make good on your petition. So I was reading this book here. This is a really good book. The New Revised 6th and 7th books of Moses and the magical uses of the Psalms. And so generally, this is like Solomonic magic, but we do use the Psalms in hoodoo. And so I definitely like the end of this book, which has an explanation for every single psalm that you use. Okay, from the first to the last, and when to use it, and why, and what it does. Excuse me. But the rest of the book is really interesting because it has other different kind of seals and conjuration. And so I was reading it. It's a really short read, especially for someone who's already magic, you don't need it. But it kind of tells you the correct way to draw your circle, purify yourself, and to call upon spirits that are in different realms, like the seraphim, the cherubim, and different beings that are mentioned within the Bible. I know people think that's like a book of stories about, but it's kind of a spell book. One day I'll come on here and tell you guys some obvious spells in there that you generally wouldn't know that were spells, but it's some of the things in the Bible okay, what the hell is this? Why is this just here now? Because they involve some sort of magic, okay, or spell work. And so we're not understanding that specific type of magic. But this book here, it explains some of it. The 6th and 7th books of Moses and the magical uses of the Psalms. And it's new and it's revised. While I don't agree with everything that the author says, which I never agree with everything an author says, because I always question the authority of the writing. It seems pretty authentic, and some of the seals and whatnot have a good purpose in helping you with magic. But I would definitely research Solomonic magic just a little bit more before I started to use things from this book, because this is a little bit more powerful than the herb spirits themselves. These are calling in some spiritual beings that have greater capacity to understand human mind, and they have tremendous knowledge, way more than you and I could ever have. So I suggest reading the book 2 or 3 times before you start putting the stuff into practice, and being a little bit more going. I don't know. I just go more with the hoodoo tradition, but I do use Solomonic magic sometimes, which has been very effective. Um, let's see. Well, I think I used it twice, so I don't want to exaggerate. Um, so you can opt, instead of using those spirits, to using more nature spirits. And if you have a good connection with nature spirits, they will come through for you. I found definitely the spirits of the roots, and the different nature spirits to be a little bit more like approachable. Um, so you can just try it and see. But if you're doing your domination work, a spider is going to really make it pop. Okay. And I mean, of course, I never stop at one candle. I use, several, and I keep the work going for at least 9 days. It just depends on what I'm trying to do, how bad the situation is, and, how much thought and time has already been given to it. Like I said, if you're exchanging energy with the spider, feeding it every day, then, as far as doing spiritual work with the spider, you've already taken care of that part, so you don't have to put that time in if you don't prefer to, and you can exchange energy with that spirit. But if you're doing domination work, this is another good one to get. Also with the dolls, which I don't have a sample doll, and I can't show you, but I've been working on, of course. Level of secrecy needs to be taken seriously. But you can use the spider queen to put inside of the heart or the head. Depends on what you want to control. If you want to control more soul and spiritual influence, then you would put it in the heart. If you want to control more mental, thought, psychic, or have influence more from the mental realm, psychic realm, and thoughts, then you would put it inside of your head. Now, this is a doll that you make yourself. For the other person's doll, I would use spider webs, and that's why I said you would need both, because I would put some type of symbolic representation of spider webs on the other person's doll. Now, for the candle itself, it has like some sort of a fake web on it, but if you were to go ahead and add the spider plus the web, I think you'd be pretty satisfied with the controlling herbs, with the spider, with the web. That is going to bring you something accomplished. But I would at least do it maybe 2 to 3 times. Okay. Of course, there's another candle that you can do, and you can do like both candles at the same time. If you take your domination candle, dress it with the herbs, spider webs, and then do another candle based on your zodiac sign, etch your name, birth date, everything in it. And then for that one, you're going to put some of the best oils in it and the best herbs like dragon's blood to give you power and strength. And then you would use like essence of bend over, or command and compel, for that domination effect. And maybe some High John the Conqueror oil or the root itself to help you, pretty much have victory. And then I would use also the domination herbs with that. So that's like two different effects right there, because now you're asking your zodiac sign to kind of charge you up while also asking for spiritual help from the Spider Queen. There are deities surrounding domination. We talked about one in the Spider Queen. You can look those up yourself. But obviously, if we do those two candles, we're working with two separate forces, okay? And that's what magic is, combining two or more forces, okay, to achieve your goal. That's in different realms. You can be working in the psychic realm, the astral realm, the emotional realm, depending on your intention. But that's basically going to be how to do it. I did get a COVID vaccine today, you guys. And that's because, well, me and my daughter talked it over. And her best friend's mom died, was it last week or the week before last, from COVID. And so what ended up happening was my daughter began to take things seriously. And I'm pretty balanced and level headed. So, well, this is a whole nother video, but I'll tell you guys about that on my next video. If you have any questions about how to use the Spider Queen, or what else you need for your domination work, you can always ask me in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to help you and answer those questions. Yeah, so click on the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. And see you next time. Work your magic.